What's up, guys? This is episode 26 of JR's Corner. This episode is sponsored by Marty's Gymnasium. Guys, today, kyk jy vandag, né? Baie special episode wat ons hier doen vandag. Guys, if you haven't met this guy yet, if you don't know about him, he's a former Stormers rugby player, former Cheetahs rugby player, with the Marty's alumni, assistant coach at Marty's Rugby. Guys, this guy is an all-round solid guy and a good friend of mine. Mr. Barry.
Sayar.
Hoe gaat het, meneer?
Ag baie goed, kan ek klaar nie, punte nie van.
Lekker man, punten die van sê, hoe voel je? Lijkt goed. Ja, ik zie die man is gekit. Ik ga nog niet zeggen, die BTD is Marty's Rugby, representing. Craig, dank je voor je tijd eerstens, man. Ik weet je tijd is baie belangrijk. En, I mean, time is currency, you know, as we all know. So Craig, I just want to know, man. Vertel me een beetje van je achtergrond. Waar komt Craig? Ik bedoel, ik ken veel redelijk goed. Maar voor die mensen wat nog niet veel gekend hebben, our international viewers.
Audience international. I'm born and bred in Ravensmead. So my hometown club is Tigerberg Rugby Club. My father played there, so I grew up in Ravensmead. A lot of sporting legends that comes from the area. And then I attended Paul Rose Gymnasium, my secondary school, and then obviously I came to Stellenbosch University to study in between to playing rugby professional. And I have one brother, and both my parents are still alive, and they're part of my supporting group. And then I also have a lovely wife that has been really has been the core part of my rugby playing career as well. I met her when I was really young, and she was also really young, and we also grew together throughout my journey as a rugby player as well, and transitioning into a coach now.
Yo, beautiful, man. I mean, just your story, you know, in itself. I mean, as a player, you know, as school teammates, that's where I got to know you, you know, and I just knew, man, like
The good days.
yeah, the memories that was made, the memories that was gemaakt.
Yeah.
But I consciously remember your parents, man, and your dad especially. He was at all the trials and the games, you know, he was ever present.
Yeah.
How important is it, you know, you as being a coach today, how important is the family support, man, and that core structure for players that's coming through the system?
Yeah, no, like not everyone is fortunate enough to have family or like a father or mother that constantly supports you and plays an intricate part in your growth as not just as a rugby player, but as a person that partakes in sport. I think for me personally, it's been a massive contribution towards my growth, not just as a sports player, but also as a human being as well. And my father always being there, that contributed to me becoming the man that I am today. I think a lot of kids have absent fathers or fathers that sometimes can't be there for them as well because of circumstances and whatever. But I was blessed to have my father at probably majority of the games when I was still playing professional rugby as well. And sometimes you take it for granted, but there's core memories that I remember, making a Super Rugby debut with my father being there, playing cravenweek with my father being there, throughout my high school career with my father being there. So he has played an intricate part towards my career, and I'll just share one story about him. So sometimes, you know, when you're in high school, or like when you play professionally as well, is everyone would give you these compliments if you had a proper game. He would always be the one to tell me what I did wrong and what I need to work on and all that. So he always kept me humble and always motivated me to stay hungry for more and to keep on working hard.
Yeah, nah, that's the fact that you actually tell that story, man. Like I fondly remember my father. That was our exact relationship, you know. Ons al 'n game speel, jy dink jy was aan die brand gewees, lyne gesny, geskoor, you know, and people would give you your props, maar op die einde van die dag, dan kom jou pa, dan sal hy vir jou sê, alright, but wat het daar gebeur? What you could have done better there, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's positive criticism, but you need somebody to tell you that, man, you know, and that's where the parents, I believe, like you say, your dad came in, and I'm sure your brother as well, there.
Yeah, but I think my brother was a lot different. He would always give me sometimes give me too much credit as well,
Okay.
because he would always,
Was a fan.
yeah,
Ah.
I won't say a fan. He would be critical sometimes as well on the
Yeah.
right things,
Yeah.
but he would over compliment me sometimes because he always wanted to give me confidence after hearing what my father had to say, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, he also played a crucial part in my rugby journey as well as a player. Always supporting me and always watching my games. Doesn't matter what time it comes on,
Yeah.
or like what he has to do. He sometimes put me first as well, to
Yeah.
watch my games and to be sure that he'll give me feedback on where I need to improve on and where I did well.
Yeah, nah, that's beautiful, man. Like a brotherly bond, man. You know, daar is net iets wat is mooi, man. Verstaan?
Ja.
Ik heb ook twee broers. So ik ken hij brotherly love, man. Hulle is al
Yes.
veel ouer. Julle gap is 'n bietjie nader,
Kleiner,
maar
ja.
dis is regtig mooi, man. Craig, I just want to go back a bit, take it just a bit of a step back. We went now forward a bit, but just take us back to Paul Roos, man. And just prior to Paul Roos, I had to do a bit of research, you know. I had to speak to Nate a bit, you know,
Yeah.
just to find out Craig as a youngster, you know, he gave me a bit of good insight. Primary school, Craig. Uh, I understand you were a good athlete, you know. I mean, as a rugby player, you're an amazing athlete. But what did you do in primary school? I understand you played a few different sports as well.
I would describe myself in primary school. Yeah, that's long ago, but I wanted to partake in as much as possible sporting codes as I could.
Yeah.
I was sharing at the family gathering probably a week ago my attempt to try and play hockey in primary school as well. Well, that lasted
Nice.
one day because I lifted the hockey stick or club or whatever you call it too high, and I almost hit someone's front teeth out. So, but I mean, I was very competitive from a young age. I had a competitive nature in me.
Yeah.
When I used to do athletics, I would do everything at high school.
Sure.
High jump, long jump,
I was doing
1,500, 800 meters, the works. I would compete at everything, and I would dominate everything at primary school. So I had a very competitive nature. Played some cricket as well in primary school, and then obviously played some rugby as well.
Yeah.
So I had a competitive spirit in me that I want to compete in as much as possible sporting codes. And obviously my parents also drove me into doing different things, not just sticking to one thing.
Yeah.
And actually exploring and finding out what am I really good at and what can I do in terms of sport going forward when going to high school and maybe pursuing a professional career one day.
Yeah. And wow, that's beautiful, man. Like, I mean, I would actually tell parents to encourage them,
True.
you know, encourage your
So
kids
true.
to do so many other things. I mean, that hockey. At high school, I played a bit of indoor as well, man. Yeah, indoor hockey, and I mean, like, it was just never, you know, it was fun, but I never, tennis as well, bro. Tennis, great sport, and just to encourage youngsters to do different things, man, you know. So now from primary school, so how was it that you got to Paul Roos from there?
So obviously I played Cravenweek under 13,
Okay.
and then obviously at the Cravenweek under 13, there's different high schools, top 5 high schools in the country that look at certain players that they want to, how can I put it now? They want to acquire their skills, their services. They want to make use of their services.
That's a great way, diplomatic way.
Yes, at high school, and I got a bursary from Paul Roos Gymnasium to come and attend, and obviously, you know, pursue a career, academic career, and also a rugby career further. And that's how I got to Paul Roos.
Yeah. Okay, Paul Roos. Good memories from Paul Roos. I'm sure you lived in the hostel.
Yes, of course. Time of my life.
Any fond memories that stood out, you know, from your whole Paul Roos rugby or just social, you know, anything that stood out for you from your Paul Roos days?
I think this is a cliche thing to say, but for me, it's coming from a smaller community and then attending, you know, one of the top 5 schools in the country. It taught me so much in terms of camaraderie, how people work together. What is a tradition? What is it to be a part of a tradition? What is it to be a part of something that's bigger than you? What it is to leave a legacy behind? What it is to get a top opportunity and make use of that opportunity. I think all those characteristics or attributes I learned from attending a school like Paul Roos. And obviously the people you meet is people that have big dreams, that aspire to become, to do big things in society. And it's not people that's not motivated. Everyone that I interacted with at Paul Roos had a bigger dream, a bigger goal. So it was a different line of I would say people spoke about different things, about taking things further in life. So like speaking about attending university, or like the conversation is, what university are you gonna attend? Where sometimes if you in a smaller community, you don't interact, or you don't communicate in that way. You don't have that aspirations to grow bigger, or to think bigger, or to have bigger goals, or to set bigger goals for yourself. So I think those are the things that I took away from high school. And then obviously, as life moved on, I started applying those things. And then I got the reward for it.
Yeah. No, beautiful, man. I mean, I'm sure that because the thing is, the pond just gets bigger, man.
Yes, true.
As je van een klein plekje afkomt, ik bedoel, Ravensmead is Cape Town, basically.
Yeah.
So, die community is kleiner, maar die, nou gaan die Paul Roos, die pond raakt groot. Dus
Yes.
je is in die oceaanbasis.
The exposure you're getting,
Yeah. So, now that's beautiful,
And then
man.
also that is now from a learning from a leerstandpunt wat ek geleer het by hulle. But also the derby days, and obviously playing against Paul Jim and
Great Blooms.
and great blooms of the world. I think that also gave you the edge once you finished school and obviously started your professional career as a professional rugby player.
Yeah.
But also it gave you that competing nature as well, that you're competing every single Saturday, you're competing with South Africa's best on the field, and that also brought out something else within me, that I would have to work harder if I want to keep this, or I have to work on certain things if I want to be the cream of the crop, as I would say.
Yeah. I mean, when you got to Paul Roos, now obviously now you guys get to know each other. You see, julle sien nou wie's wie, verstaan jy? En ek glo daar was seker nog 'n paar ouens wat jou posisie ook gespeel het. Wanneer het jy besef om te sê, hey, was jy daai player wat jy in matriek in graad 11 was, in graad 8 gewees, of was daar 'n klomp werk wat nog gedoen moes gewees, dit skaafwerk?
No, not at all. I think ek dink die groot ding is toe ek by Paul Roos aankom is wat it was all about enjoyment. So it was never like ambition in me. I just don't know why, but there was never an ambition to me that I have to play a team. I must play under 15, I must play under 14. I have this massive goal as to like, this is going to be the outcome. I literally came there and just enjoyed myself. And then my ability through just enjoying myself just started to come through, I started growing as time moves on the 15 and the 16. And then obviously we were fortunate enough at the time to have Davy Snyman, that's now the Stormers assistant
the great coach Davy.
Yeah. He worked with us throughout me and a few other guys as well. He worked with us throughout our high schooling career, working on some meticulous detail in terms of how to step, how to pass. And I think that also made us grow as rugby players as well. But yeah, I think once you got to grade 11 and matric, I think that's when you started setting your sights on, I want to play first team for the school. Or I actually want to make a massive contribution, and I want to play cravenweek, I want to play SA schools. But not really as from grade 8, 9 and 10. I think it was all about enjoyment and enjoying the time that you have with the people that you had in courses with. And
lekker enjoyment. Hy social aan wat die manne het in die kursus.
Yes, touchies.
Touchies
speel. Half uur so.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Nah, beautiful, man. So you touched on Craven Week, going on further. I mean, that's basically where me and you actually cross paths, 2009 Craven Week. Do you want to touch a bit on that Craven Week and obviously the doors it opened for you post that competition?
Yeah, that was actually a special year. 2009 was a special year for that team going on to win the competition.
Sure.
And I mean, we had some marquee players in today. Like that time, you couldn't say the
household
marquee
names.
Yeah, today the household names, like just thinking about it, like Eben Etzebeth, Nizam Ka, Steven Kutz of Bramstein, JP Du Plessis, like Rick Schroeder.
Sure.
So those were big names that went on to play big
Great
rugby.
Barry.
Zayar Esterhuizen as well. But I mean, but those group of players as well, it was a really good bunch of players together, like we came from different schools, but along the journey, the prep that went into the Craven Week, we started like feeling each other, finding each other, and I mean, we started... Samuel and his father's Tim Lane. En ek bedoel, ons het mekaar gevind by die Craven Week self, en hoe lekker het ons net saam gespeel en goeie memories gemaak van hom.
100%, 100%. Nah, that was actually to think back, nah, I never ek sal nie geweet het dat daai span sal geword het nie. Ek sal nie gedink het in daai
In
moment
daai
nie.
moment, ja.
Jy weet nie
Hoe
van
special.
because you present, you know, you in the
yeah.
present, you enjoying the moment, you know, and you're rubbing shoulders, you playing against Siakulis, you know,
Ja.
and the guys, the goosens and
Omdat hy nog hy game letterlik ons het vir EP letterlik amper 60 gegee en Sia was man of the match gewees.
ek het daai selfe
Ja.
conversation hier gehad toe ek met Dok raak gesit en
Ja.
toe vertel ek die storie, toe shake die
Yes.
storie, maar but it is what it is, man. That's where the stars came through, you know. But just a moment in that competition, that was a defining moment in the final. You just want to talk us through, if you have the vague memory, you know, of that, what happened just prior to that moment and post moment, you know.
I think that is like I've had a few of them throughout my career. Sometimes things you can't explain. It's just natural instinct that kicks in. In terms of, obviously I saw the space behind, and I think we were like 4 or 5 points behind, or 4 points we were behind in the final, and there wasn't a lot of time left. And then I got the ball on the blind side, and I saw there was not a lot of space. There was space in behind, and there was no one that was behind the defensive line, and I just gave a chip. And then obviously lucky bounce, the ball bounced right, and then I caught it and I scored in the corner. And I think eventually we won the Cravenweek through that try, because there wasn't a lot of time left.
That was the match-winning try.
So that's what I remember of that 09 final, the Cravenweek. And yeah, what a fun memory to have.
Sure. Beautiful. I think that was the defining moment for Craig Barry, you know. I mean, you had a few other moments like those in the Paul Rose jersey as well, you know. And leading up to that, I think the South African unions and the big scouts, you know. I think hulle het bewus geraak van wie se kraker. Hy was mos die nickname geweest.
Ja.
Nog steeds die nickname.
Ja, nog steeds
die kraker. Nah, beautiful, man. Craig, BTD. I see you have the cap on today. BTD, how did BTD come about, and your contribution to BTD, and what it means to you?
So I'll start off just speaking about myself. So obviously I've throughout our conversation now, like I've received numerous opportunities that wasn't supposed to, like, I would say that, like it wasn't supposed to come my way. It's not like it's a guarantee that it was supposed to happen. I was fortunate and blessed enough to receive those scholarships and receive those opportunities throughout my high school, throughout my playing career as well. And there came a stage in my life when I was playing here at Marty's, and then I just asked myself, like, what am I giving back? Because I've received so many things in my life up until that time, and I mean, I was 22, 21 years old, and I wanted to form part or be part of something that far greater than myself. And that's when I met Grantham, and we became real good friends. And then he introduced me to the vision that he had for Be the Difference. I mean, he started it about 10 years ago. I'm probably part of it 7 to 8 years now. And we became good friends, and then I became part of Be the Difference. Fell in love with what they were doing at the time. And then as time moved on, the vision just grew and grew and grew. And for me, it was always about giving back to community kids like myself. I'm a product of Ravensmead community. I'm a community kid myself, and I've reached certain heights, you know, just showcase that anything is possible. And I wanted to share that information with a lot of younger kids coming through that might not have a dream or might think it's impossible. And I just wanted to share my story with them, and also educate and equip them with the necessary information that it is possible. Doesn't matter where you come from or the circumstances that you come from. So that's how I started to become involved with Be the Difference. And I mean, it felt like it yesterday. I've been involved now for 8 years already. And there's so many community kids that have come through our programs. And we have a focus now. We focus on 3 socioeconomic programs. So obviously it's nutrition, education, and sport. And I play a massive part in the sporting program.
No, that's beautiful. I mean, from a a spectator's point of view, somebody that's just watched. I've been following what you guys have been doing, since, like you say, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
and then just seeing you guys were starting working with kids, training them. And I thought, wow, it's beautiful. But not to see, what the outcome would be, and I mean, you guys haven't reached your peak yet, as BTD. That's the scary thing about it.
Yeah.
I believe you guys will still be going worldwide, and but obviously the work that you guys do, it's amazing. It's really amazing. I still need to get Grantham, a BTD, a BTD exclusive.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And then you know what? I know obviously the sport is a big thing, and you went into a professional setup post high school. I know you were out of a professional setup as well for a long time. What was your mindset, and I want to weave mental health into this aspect, and I know that's something that becomes very more prevalent in today's sporting world. Your stage that you were out of, and there's a moment I actually want to remind you about, where you got me in town in the evening out.
Yes.
You were telling me, Jayar, just watch out. I'll be back on the scene a year later. So you told me that, and I was like, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. Like yeah. I take what you I want to see what's gonna happen. I didn't doubt you for a second, but you were out of the professional setup for a while, and then you got your chance to get back in. How was your mindset, and obviously the mental health and the aspect, and obviously what role did Marty's gym play into getting you back into this whole, getting back onto the big stage?
So
Sorry, it's a loaded question.
No, it's fine. So I would say once I didn't have a contract anymore, and I had to come and study, and then obviously injuries and all those things also played a massive role in terms of not getting enough game time and not being able to prove myself.
Yeah.
So I fell out of the mix a bit,
Yeah.
not being at a union. My mental state at the time was it's possible. I always believed in myself. It is still possible.
Sure.
And then I started to challenge myself, because like if you look at statistics, once a guy falls out at under 21 level,
Gone.
he never returns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's done with rugby, chooses a different career path.
Yeah.
And then I challenged myself, like I've been doing since I was a youngster at primary school.
Yeah.
I challenged myself to say, like, that's what statistics says. But what am I saying about myself?
Sure.
And that's a positive message I relayed to myself every single time that I would face an obstacle like the one I had a few years ago.
Yeah.
I just started working really hard without the promise of a contract, without the promise of this opportunity that's coming. I just convinced myself that opportunity will arise.
Yeah.
And I stuck to the word that God gave me at the time. He told me, like, just keep on believing in me. Like, I mean, the Bible speaks about faith coming by hearing, and hearing the word of God. Faith is the things hoped for,
Sure.
yet not seen.
Amen.
So I kept
Preach,
on,
brother.
I kept on, I kept on hoping for a better future for myself,
Sure.
but I couldn't see it.
How many years were that? Just before you.
So that
not
was
to break
about,
your word.
yeah, that was about 2013, 14, 15. That was about 3.5 years.
Wow.
I just
Grafting.
I literally just kept on working. And when the season ended, no contract came, I just went back, kept on working. And I think if you, the Marty's gym, that's when they saw me a lot as well. I mean, high performance facility. And I just literally started making use of the resources that I had at my disposal. Obviously, being a high performance athlete at Marty's Rugby Club, I just started using the Marty's gym and the facilities that was available to me to become a better athlete. So I never made an excuse. I never said, yeah, it's because of this system, because of that. I literally just made use of what I had in my hand. And then eventually in 2017, my breakthrough came and my opportunity came, and then I got opportunity to get back onto the scene. So from a mental standpoint, I'm sitting here telling you how easy it is. Promise you, in that given stage, it wasn't easy, because you're hoping and dreaming about something that people from the outside keeps on telling you it's not possible, you won't be able to do it, you're done, you're not the guy that
Has
you...
been.
Sy sê meer ou wat sy dink sy was, gee die jong laities 'n kans om beter te kom.
Sy is nog 'n jong laitie uit.
Yeah, but ek bedoel, like for me, it was like I could have decided, I could have listened to all those negative voices, the people that created doubt in my mind, or I could decide to just listen to myself and look at the positive that there is, and look at the opportunity that might present itself.
Yeah.
because nothing was promised at that given stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me it was just having a positive mindset, and obviously the core people that you have around you, like my girlfriend, my wife now, my girlfriend at the time, and then obviously my brother at the time as well, that kept on supporting me. And I probably, if you would ask them, they would probably say that they probably didn't see it also coming, but they kept on supporting me the whole time, in the dream and the vision I had for myself.
Sure. Nah, that's you're correct. You know what? Just that but man. Ons kan maar nou toemaken. Ons kan nou ons kan maar nou die video klaarmaken. Because that video, that but man, that gem that you threw out there, you know, I mean, there's so many young boys that they give up so easily, man. You know, you see boys in high school, they don't make the first team or the A team. And they're like, hey, ik is klaar met rugby, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's that. I mean, for me, as somebody that also came through that, you know, and was in the rugby wilderness, as you would say, you know, I mean, I also never gave up. But in your mind, you know, people plant that bit of doubt, man, you know, and that's where the doubt creeps in and the bitchy, you know, doubting yourself as well, you know. But you came up, bro, and that night when you told me, honestly, brother, that was 2017. That was like, early 2017. You said, hey, brother, is something coming, you know, and then it wasn't long and you got into the mix with the Stormers, you know, and I want to commend you for that, brother, man. You didn't doubt yourself, you came back, and I heard the guys say there at the Marties, they said you came in with your travel bag, suitcase. You say, is he so you reporting for duty? Is he for work? So that was the thing, man. That was the conversations that I got from the guys on the ground floor, you know. Where we now I want to take you back to your partner, man, your wifey. Her support, you know, in you transitioning from player to coach, you know, how massive was that? Because I know the time that you're away from home now, it's a little bit more, and the workload is obviously it's a bit different. How is that transition from you? And we're getting to the end of our conversation. That transition from player to coach. How was that for you, man? And mentally, you know, how to make the switch. You know?
I think if you
and her support in it.
I think for my wife, Genevieve, like throughout my playing career, she's always been supportive.
Social media influencer.
Like her support has been really, really good, and she sometimes she always understood like you know what it takes to be a professional athlete. You know, there's so many sacrifices that she has made in her life in order for me to pursue my dream and to reach my goals. And I think like I just take my hat off to her every single day for the sacrifices she has made, sometimes to the detriment of her career as well. And I mean, that's why she's my wife, you know. You keep someone that always want to support you, and with her characteristics and the influence she had on my playing career as well, I always commend her for that. But speaking from her standpoint as well, it must have been difficult as well, and especially me continuing my career in rugby as well, and you know, pursuing a coaching career as well. It's a bit difficult at times, but I know she always supports me, and I can feel her support and love as well. Because you miss a lot of things. You miss people's birthdays. In my playing career, you miss Christmas sometimes. You overseas, you miss New Year's. You can't really plan a holiday because they let you know 2 weeks prior, like we're going, listen here, you guys are having a week break or whatever. So sometimes it's very difficult. Maybe it's going to become easier. But yeah, she's been immaculate in terms of contributing to my success in my career.
Yo, nah, that's beautiful, man. And shout out to wifey.
Genevieve Barry.
I say, Craig, yo, my man, I just want to firstly thank you. You know, like I said before we started shooting, we can probably sit here for hours and talk about many different topics. And obviously, you definitely somebody that, you know, you become a friend of the show. You know, somebody that would hopefully come on in the future again. A final word of motivation. I know you threw out the many gems here already. A last word of motivation for the audience, for anyone out there just that's watching this video and looking for something.
Yo, this morning I was reminded again, don't let other people put their limitations on you about your life. Okay, so let me elaborate a bit on that. So certain people have certain opinions or they see you in a certain way. and then they put their limitations because they can't see your dream or your vision that God has planned for your
Sure.
life. So keep on focusing on yourself, keep on developing yourself, because you might also, as I also went through in life, you might sometimes also not see the complete picture, but just know that God has a plan for you, and just keep on developing as a human being.
Sure.
Somewhere, somehow, God is going to come through for you and open a certain door. How long? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Only God knows the plan He has for you.
Sure. Powerful, man. Powerful. I was just seeing when you was telling me that story, I saw one bit of a big puzzle. Just one
Yes,
instantly.
yes.
And then obviously,
Keep on building on it.
yeah, there we go, man. That's beautiful, man. Guys, I just want to end off. This was episode. Okay, before we get there, I just want to thank a few sponsors. Marty's Gymnasium for this video, sponsoring this video. Memento Photography, husband Memento Photography.
Yo!
Abraham Yankees, Memento Photography. Is there any sponsors that you want to shout out? Any nothing you want to give out?
There's no sponsors, but yeah, I just want to wish you guys well at JR's Corner. Hopefully you guys grow from strength to strength.
Sure. Beautiful, man.
And all the future endeavors you guys have planned for your show.
Sweet,
Just want to wish you guys well,
Sure.
and thank you for having me on the show.
Nah, sweet, man. I just want to give you your flowers as well, Craig, man. I know you gave me my flowers now before, but I want to give you your flowers while you're alive, my man. Meneer, dankie, Craig, vir alles wat jy doen, wat jy beteken vir Maties Rugby, you know. Everything your contribution, man, wherever you go, it's always, when I see you, it's always a spark of energy, man, you know. And the conversation never stops. So, Craig, nah, thanks, man, for that and who you are, brother, man. Keep on. Hou je voet op je grond.
Thank you, man.
That's awesome. I believe you'll just go from strength to strength in whatever you want to do in life, man.
Thank you.
And guys, that's episode 26. Mr. Craig Barry. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, man. God bless you.